February is one of those months that you simply cannot miss. Everywhere you go, you'll be reminded of the month nearing. Literally any store you go in will be decorated with pink and red end caps, a display of flowers near the entrance, and a card fit for any relationship in your life. Whether you like it or not, love is in the air. But what if that love could be directed towards you? Or better yet, what if that love could be directed by you towards you? Here's some background information. What is the worst that could happen? I'm a firm believer in that. I really think that amazing results happen when you intentionally stick with something for a period of time. For example, I see this a lot in the Christian faith. Just intentionally give your all to Christ for 1 year. And if after 1 year the results aren't good, you never have to try it again. I've heard that a lot. But I just love that equation for everything in life. Just for X amount of time, intentionally give your all to Y. And if after X, the results aren't good, you never have to try it again. One of the reasons why I like this equation so much is because it's low pressure. If the results are not good after the time limit, you can literally never have to think about it again. You can move on and try something different. However, most of all, what I love about this equation is that the results often shock you. If you're still listening to this, you're probably thinking, what does this have to do with February or self-love? Well, I'll tell you, it actually ties together because that exact equation is the reason why I woke up one day and I thought, if I spent the whole month of February intentionally loving myself every single day, how would I feel or who would I be by the end of the 28 days? So as I stated before, why this equation works so well is because it's so low pressure. I feel like I've tried everything out there. Every habit stack, every wellness tip. I've added a million things into my routine, bought all the necessary products, but it still ends up being so overwhelming and ultimately a waste. One day along this wellness journey, I realized something so simple and something that really made me feel silly. The answer had been the simplest thing. And that is 100% my motto in everything. I've realized in every case scenario that the simplest thing is always the best option. I think we get away from this with the overconsumption and overstimulating mainstream wellness trends. These tell you that you need to buy everything, do everything, and your routines need to be overly detailed, that your habits need to be severely specific. But what if that's actually doing more damage? Okay, listen, enough yapping. Now that you have a little background in my philosophy when it comes to wellness, I can tell you how we're going to apply all of this to 28 days of intentional self-love. An intro into the 28-day self-love challenge. February is interesting to me because it's all about loving other people, but I wonder how many people don't feel the love is reciprocated to them. I wonder how many people end up feeling really lonely or even helpless in this month of love. What if I told you you don't need anybody to focus on you in February? What if I told you you were your own Valentine? It sounds simple, right? I mean, I told you so. But stick with me for a second. The world we live in, unfortunately, looks down on self-love and respect. When you authentically and publicly love yourself or respect yourself, you're seen as selfish. I truly believe that this is because your confidence challenges other people's insecurity. But the truth is that you shouldn't feel bad for loving yourself, and you shouldn't have to cap it to fit into society. When you choose to hold back on your self-respect, you're actually not respecting your self-respect. So my question is, how far are you willing to go? What is it worth to you? Is it worth giving someone else a little boost when you disrespect yourself and put yourself down, even if you know it's not true? Okay, with all this being said, that behavior is out there for February. What is in is intentionally and authentically loving ourselves. That sounds really simple, right? In fact, it's something that we're told a lot and we see it a lot. It becomes cliche. Love yourself. But I think that often goes in one ear and out the other because how many people just simply love themselves? For me, I've realized it's the key to true happiness, and it's something so simple. Self-love. Because of this, I've created a challenge. 4 weeks of February spent practicing self-love. The goal is to intentionally love yourself even just 1% more every single day. By the end of the month, your self-respect would have increased by a minimum of 28%. So, how do you do it? Is to note that the beginning might be rough, that you might be repeating things to yourself that you realize you don't truly believe. However, by the end of the 28 days, the goal is to truly in your heart feel everything you're saying about yourself. Fake it till you make it, if you will. Let's start with affirmations. I would say this is a common practice, but if you're unaware, affirmations are short, powerful sayings to reframe negative thoughts. I am safe and surrounded by love. My confidence glows from the inside out. I am worthy of investing in myself. There's a few ways to practice affirmations, and adding it into your routine is essential for the 28-day self-love challenge. The easiest way to do this would be pick 5 to 10 positive affirmations that stick out to your personal self-love journey, then write them in a journal or in your notes app and repeat them at nighttime, in the morning, when you pass a mirror, before you eat, or simply whenever you think of it. Why does this work? These affirmations are such a great start because they're essentially rewiring your brain. Your brain's neuroplasticity helps to adapt the positive self-thinking you are hoping to achieve. These affirmations stimulate neural pathways and they activate reward centers, and that leads to personal satisfaction. Let's go to the next step, inner work, or specifically shadow work. Inner work is the conscious process of discovering, healing, and regulating your internal thoughts. Shadow work is a form of inner work that has really been helping me lately. This can be difficult, but it is the awareness of more undesirable parts of your own personality that you might be repressing. Scary, right? Shadow work is specifically good if you find yourself self-sabotaging or projecting on other people. It is important in this journey that we love every aspect of ourselves. It's essential in this challenge that we become aware of our imperfection and practice love for it. The easiest way to practice shadow work on your own would be through self-reflection. I highly recommend for this whole 28-day challenge that you use a notebook or a journal or even your notes app to write your thoughts down. Think of the parts of you that you find hard to love, or the parts that you feel like you're holding back from truly loving yourself. What do you feel? Why do you feel like that? For me, I was always super angry at how outgoing I was. But when I sat down to reflect on it, I realized I actually love that trait of me. So why did I feel so much hate towards it? After realistically a few months of deep shadow work, I had dug up the roots to the problem. It wasn't that I hated that part of me. It was that growing up, I was always told I was too loud, or I got bullied for it by my classmates, people who I thought were my friends, and even teachers in my life. Discovering the roots of something that you might be insecure about is essential to clearing that slate and turning it into self-love. The point of this challenge is not to pick and choose what we love about ourselves, but wholeheartedly love every single part. One of the last parts I want to focus on this week for the challenge is practicing gratitude. Have you guys ever seen that experiment where people have 2 separate bags of rice? One where they kind of yell at and they're negative to, and then the other one that they thank and they give compliments to. And by the end, something so amazing happens. Okay, the one that they were talking all negative to ends up being dark and growing this mold, and the other one, to our surprise, is just fine. And here's the thing, I think too often that I'm angry at myself. I'm angry that I procrastinate, angry when I sleep in, angry that I had a bad day, but there's a simple shift that's really been changing the game, and that is gratitude. Here's the thing, there's only one rule for the next 28 days, and that is, it is mandatory to show yourself grace. Treat yourself as if you were a child. When you get angry, gentle parent yourself, per se. For instance, let's say you're 30 minutes into your commute to work when you realize you left your lunch at home. Your initial response might to be very angry at yourself. You might get annoyed, roll your eyes, or think how stupid you are, or even how you sat out your lunch on the table so you purposely wouldn't forget it. Depending on the day, you might even yell out loud, to almost as if you're yelling to yourself. Take a step back, and most importantly, breathe, because here's the thing. You woke up this morning, and not only that, but you got yourself out of bed, you put on an outfit, you used your energy to pack up your stuff, to go to your car, to push yourself to work, and you did all of that. And that's a big deal. So while leaving your lunch at home might be an inconvenience, it doesn't change your self-worth. So why choose to disrespect yourself? Okay. Enough of the role playing. Do you get it? Even in the littlest things or even in the biggest things, we are not showing anger at any part of ourselves. We are redirecting every single thing as gratitude, positivity, and grace. Okay, let's wrap it up. Should you spend the next 4 weeks to intentionally love yourself 1% more every day, you will be amazed by the results. Over the next 4 weeks, I will post 1 article weekly to check in and continue to give you guides, challenges, and tips, as well as an audio form, which it seems as if that's what you're listening to right now. However, I will be posting daily short form to go along with the challenge on my TikTok page, and I would love to see you more than weekly. You also might be listening to this audio through YouTube. If so, make sure you're already subscribed so you can get reminders for the rest of the post. Subscribe to my Substack for free newsletters and articles weekly, as well as daily thoughts. But let's wrap it up. Here is your missions for week 1 of the 28-day self-love challenge. All right, starting off, write this down, keep it in your memory, check it off. I want you to find 5 to 10 affirmations that feel personal to your self-love journey this week. Next, I want you to apply your affirmations at least once a day, intentionally and wholeheartedly believing it. Next up, find 1 personal insecurity and deep dive into it. This might be hard, but make sure you're alone and in a safe space and allow yourself to fully unlock that. Last step, I want you to replace anger for gratitude intentionally this week. Feel yourself getting angry or annoyed or feeling negative about yourself, switch that right away. Okay, I know I said last, but 1 more extra bonus challenge for all the brownie points. I want you to share this challenge with a friend. If it is going to change your life, why not change other people's life? Let me tell you, you are not alone. Here we are building an amazing community. Go ahead and introduce yourself in the comments and allow us and yourself to hold you accountable. I am so glad that I got to talk to you guys today. I really truly believe that this 28-day challenge will change your life. As I said, I will be posting weekly on some platforms and daily on some others. If you're listening to this in the future and maybe the initial challenge is already over, feel free to continue to watch the whole playlist that you can find linked on my YouTube, my Substack, and my TikTok. I love you guys so much, and don't forget to love yourself.